everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be another addition to my Completely Candid segment. If you haven't watched it, I do have 2 other videos up right now. But basically what's going to be happening is I'm going to have Therese on my channel today, and she's a student from Ryerson. And she's going to be talking about her experiences at Ryerson and her experiences in her program of sports media. And then we're going to get into talking about her work experiences, which are super interesting and cool and unique. And she's doing amazing, but stick around if you want to hear about that. And yeah, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe because that would really help me out. And without further ado, let's go and meet Therese. Hey everyone, welcome back to Completely Candid. Today I have Therese with me, and we're going to be asking her some questions about Ryerson, her program, and her work experience. So why don't we just go right into it. Therese, do you want to just tell everyone about yourself, a little about your educational background, your work experience?
Yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm Therese Sevilla. I am a finished third year. I'm going into 4th year of sports media at Ryerson University. I currently work at TSN and Bar Down as one of their graphic designers, and yeah, just living life. In COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
gotta love it.
Awesome. And just like in terms of your actual program, it sounds really interesting. And what made you choose that program and the particular school that you're actually attending?
Always been a fan of like graphic design and like art and like that kind of realm. So I did apply, like in high school, I did apply to a lot of graphic design programs. So I applied to OCAD, George Brown, I think, like other things, but I also applied to Ryerson Sport Media because I was like, oh, this program sounds really cool. And I read it in their I actually went to their university fair, and I was just really intrigued by the last because I love sports and I've grown up playing soccer. But yeah, like I've always loved sports, and I feel like having also applying to like sport media, I was like, oh, this intersection between art and sports is pretty cool. Let me just see what happens, you know? So I applied to that as well. I thankfully got into it. It feels just like yesterday when I got like the interview, the interview email was like, oh, you passed the first like round of candidates.
Mhm.
And I remember just going into school that day, I was like, so excited, like let's go. I was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was like that moment where I was like, oh, I definitely think this is going to be my first choice, because it was either that or OCAD.
Mhm.
And OCAD was a very specific like graphic design course, and I feel like around that time I was very like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, because did I want to like just focus on graphic design mainly, or like have like have an actual like niche? 'Cause sports, it's there's something happening every second, like it's always buzzing, and I just feel like that'd be a great realm to like tap in. I remember I got like the acceptance letter. I was in our library, and I literally ran to the cafeteria. I went to like one of our friends, like Tishelle, and it was just great. Like it felt like it just happened yesterday. But yeah, ever since I did not look back. Actually, I've obviously, like, everyone has doubts, but yeah, like I've loved it ever since.
All right, so now we'll just go into questions related to life at Ryerson for anyone watching that just genuinely wants to go to Ryerson. So what is life at Ryerson like? Because I know it's a commuting school, so is it easy to get into the community, or do you have to really put that effort in to do
Girl. So,
that?
okay, you are commuting school with a capital C, because for me, I live in Markham. So I don't want to, buy, I don't want to live on res and like pay a lot if I can just, like, I don't know, take an hour train ride there. Like obviously like other people would say the same thing, but I don't know. But like personally, I I would say it is easy access, because there's you know transit everywhere you go, like every street you go. So let me just give you like a little morning in my life, like before COVID. So like I like personally, like I get anxiety like just thinking about like being late to class. So I'd rather like wake up really early and take the earlier train. So like for example, like for an 8 a.m. class, I'd take the 5:58 train, and then I'll get there at like around 7 because it takes like an hour, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Get
Yeah.
that by 5:58, then I'll get there around like 7, and then me and I'll get to Union Station. For those who don't know, it's like the heart of,
Central area where all the trains kind of come
yeah,
in. Yeah.
yeah, where like all the trains come in, and I would walk to school. So does that like, but I wouldn't walk outside. I'd walk underground,
Right, because they have the path. Yeah.
which is I think the best invention ever made, because that thing, like I would literally, I would just feel like the main character, it's like 6 a.m. I am tired. I'm
Yeah.
tired, but I'm just like, just walking to school. And I'd rather do that than like take the I guess like the transit, because I can go from Union Station, like take the subway from there to straight to school, and it'll take like 20 minutes. But I don't know, like that feeling of like walking, it's something that I was like, oh, I need to like get some
Move a little. Yeah.
move a little. And it was like right in the morning, and it honestly just made me feel like good and active. And I feel like it was just something that I'm glad I did before COVID happened. And it's some I don't know, but yeah, like that was kind of like my morning routine. And like you said, I feel like look, in mornings it's okay, because sometimes I would walk with like my friends. We'd like take the train together and like walk to school. But it's like going back, which is kind of difficult, because second year, second semester, I had classes like 12 hours. 12 hours. Let me tell you, I had a class from 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. and then a class I would end from 9:30 p.m. So I would be at
Wow.
Ryerson the entire day. And I wouldn't really complain about it like right now, because I'm like, oh, I actually enjoyed like being with my friends and just being there. But like getting home around that time is pretty difficult. So I would find myself like, just like staying on the call with, I don't know, like my mom, or like calling some friends. So it does get scary, but you kind of just have to get used to it. um and yeah, I honestly, around that time I would not take the path, because that's
Yeah.
a
Like it's
horrible idea.
sketchy. Yeah.
That's so sketchy. I would
Yeah.
take like the subway at latest, and then just, yeah, like run, because
Yeah.
I can tell you like countless of times I would run. Like I am Forrest Gump. This one time when I think I joined like intramural soccer, and the game ended like 15 minutes before like the last train
Oh
came.
my God.
So bro, like my friend had to like drive like me and my other friend, because my other friend lived in Richmond Hill, I live in Markham, right? So we were both taking the train. So my other friend was like speeding, like her
Yeah.
speeding, and I was running for my life. Running for my life, like skipping steps, like running up the stairs, like it was X Games mode.
Oh my God. I
But
love that.
yeah, that's basically like it is easy, but I can find like some aspects where it's like
Yeah.
kind of hard. Yeah,
Like it's just life as a commuter. You're gonna face all of that eventually.
all the obstacles.
Yeah. How and like at Ryerson, is it hard for you to make friends initially, was it? Because you were commuting? Like were you so busy kind of running around that you couldn't meet as many people, or did you make that initiative to do so?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because obviously like when getting out of high school, you're kind of scared, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, like the people that I've been with for like 4 years, like they're like I'm not gonna be with the people that I've known like all these years. I have to actually go out and meet new friends. But thankfully, like for me, for my first year, I think I like the Facebook pages exist, right? So like when you have to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I did those. Yeah.
Yeah, I did those too. So it really helps. And from there, like we made like a Snapchat group chat with like
Okay.
my program, and my program is pretty small, right? So it's easier to make friends because it's such a close-knit group, I would say. But yeah, from there, I met like one of my friends, like Kayla, like she like we like messaged on the side, and then we were like, oh, let's walk to class together. So it's kind of that thing, like you do have to make the effort. And like for me, like I tried very hard, like not to go to class and then go straight home, sort of thing, like I'd actually spend time at school. And make the efforts, like, you know, join clubs, get to know people outside of my program, like that kind of thing, and just make the initiative to, like, you know, I'll like make some more friends and like just get most of that like university experience.
And if you could describe Ryerson in one word, what would you choose?
Like Ryerson, like the experience, or like Ryerson, like this, like the place.
Maybe both if you have two different words for each of those.
Ryerson, like as a place, it's very chaotic. Like it's
Yeah.
never quiet.
Like there's
Like
always some hustling and bustling going around.
there's always someone like screaming in the streets. Like
Oh gosh. Not what I was expecting.
there's someone always screaming in the streets, or like fire alarms going on.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, like I feel like that could be one, but
Yeah.
also another one, it's very engaging because I definitely believe like they make an effort to, like, you know, with homecoming and all these other events, like just making sure like you get the full experience, and like just trying to, yeah, I feel like they're very like they make they make an actual effort to comprise like all these events just for the students, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did take for granted because I did not go to at least one homecoming thing.
Yeah.
I really wish I did, but looking back at it now, but no, yeah, they're very engaging, I would say.
Awesome. What are like the social dynamics in your program? Like, because I know you said it's a close-knit group of people. Would you say it's competitive?
Yeah, that's also a great question. Like these,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, yeah, like I said, it is a very close-knit group, and I feel like there's like 60 people in the program, which is insane thinking about it. There's like
That's crazy.
17 girls, and then the rest are guys.
Oh wow.
Crazy. So I would say, okay, I was speaking on experience, like for me going into the program, obviously like I wanted to do art, right? But I didn't know it at the time, like specifically like, oh, like what I wanted to do, because everyone else wanted to be, you know, broadcasters, or, you know, directors, producers, or whatever it's called, and they were actually good at it. Like we would be taking these classes, and these people would be so good at, you know, speaking on camera, and I'd just be there like, what am I doing here? Like I literally got imposter syndrome because I'm like, oh, bro, I don't know if I like belong here. Like I don't know what I do in the control room or whatever. But I, like, speaking from experience, I just realized like throughout time, I just realized like, oh, everyone is on a different journey, and that's something I'd have to like keep telling myself, like back then, like continue telling myself now, because I would say it is competitive. It is competitive.
Right.
But I would say like the people in my program, they're so supportive. That's the perfect word about it. Like
Oh, that's awesome.
my year, like they're just so supportive of like everyone, like whatever. If someone's like doing something, like everyone's just so supportive about it. So I would say it is competitive because of the limited like positions, right? But everyone is just supportive about it, and I feel like everyone is on that mindset where it's like everyone's on a different journey. Everyone just like, you just have to trust in yourself that like that it's coming.
And another question I actually had was, I know I've read a lot online that a lot of people's parents are kind of scared of sending their student to maybe a school in Toronto, because Toronto can be a little chaotic, as you said.
Yeah.
And was it like an issue for your family when you went there in terms of safety? And if it was, or if it wasn't, do you have any kind of tips on what students can do to ensure their parents are okay with them going, and for them to be okay with it?
First of all, like my mom was like, oh, I feel like it's better to stay home. So I was like,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like I feel like other like I obviously, like, she'd want me to like choose myself, but I was like, yeah, I totally agree. Like I want to stay home as well. So found Ryerson. She's always like, so my mom works at downtown, so she knows the dynamics. Like if you are planning to go to school in downtown, I would say, you know, just always keep an eye out, especially if it's nighttime. You know, and take advantage for the mornings or like afternoon, take advantage of the paths, because okay, I don't know if there's a path for UFT though. I think it's only for Ryerson, because Ryerson's like here, and then I think UFT is like here, but the path only goes this way. And I think past St. Andrew, I don't know if there's another path, but if you are going to Ryerson, I would say take advantage of the path, because it leads you to like all these like bakeries, which is kind of tempting. Okay, not gonna lie, like it is kind of tempting sometimes, but it does take you through like food places, and like just little like places here and there. And then it takes you straight into the Eden Center, and then you just get out and then you're at school. So yeah, that's kind of how like Ryerson is literally a circus, because the Eden Center is part of our like campus technically. Like,
oh, that's awesome and bad for my wallet.
it is,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, oh, let me just go to Uniqlo real quick. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh my God.
there are pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like personally, like I said before, like the decision to go to Ryerson wasn't really a problem, because my mom was like, yeah, I think you should stay home, and I
Yeah.
agree with her. But I know that's not always the case for some students. Like some people actually want to like get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get out of my like room that I've been in like the past 10 years,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But I feel like your parents are there to support you.
All right, so now more in terms of your specific program for people who are interested in doing the same program as you. Just I guess like what's an average day look like for you before COVID and after?
But let's do like before COVID happened. So like my 12-hour days, like I'd get there around like 8. Yeah, I like being at class like 30 minutes or like an hour. Okay, so basically I want to be in downtown an hour before my actual class, which sounds insane. If I want to be there, like I'd rather wait than like show up to class, like 10 minutes late or something. So that's what I would do. Like sometimes a really fun thing that we have is just our like our labs, which are more hands-on classes. So that class is, I think it's filled with like 20 people. So it's even smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to really like work with all these people, and like you build you actually do like productions. So it's really fun. Like everyone has a role, and there's like shows every week. So it does get stressful at times. But it is all in the process, because you're either the producer, the director, on-air talent, graphics, or something like that. Like, so it is a good time, and it's a fun way to collaborate with your peers and stuff. But then there's also like classes, like just lectures, here and there. There has to be lectures.
Yeah.
Like an average day, like one of the things that I miss so much at like Ryerson, like pre-COVID, is sitting at like the RCC. Like, so basically the RCC is like where most RTA students like just that's our main building, and we just sit there for hours, because we're there for like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And there for hours doing our work, just talking or whatever. And that's it.
Oh,
like,
that's so nice.
those little things, like that's probably one of the like the memories that I have like pre-COVID, and I miss it so much. Just like having everyone's company, and like we'd start off as like like just the 6 of us like in the morning, and then more people would come, and then some people would leave for their class, right? And then other people would come, but then those people would leave, and then the people who were back from the morning would come.
Yeah. So just always flowing in and out, like
it's literally a drop.
Yeah.
Like people are always, like someone's always coming. So it was pretty fun. Like we reserved this one specific table.
Mhm.
It was our table. Like if we see someone else there, we would literally, it sounded so bad, but if we saw like one person there, we'd literally all just sit in the table
until they had to leave.
Yeah, we'd fall. Like I can't even tell you.
Oh
Like
my
we made people uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Because it's your property. You guys should like, no, leave, please.
Literally,
This is my happy place.
Yeah, like this is
I
literally
love that.
like. But yeah, the entire semester, like that was one of the things, and yeah, like without that table, like I don't know.
Ryerson is that table.
That's the table. Like I don't even care if I don't see anything else. Like I just want to see that table.
That's so funny.
But yeah, and then like an average day, there's also a metro across by, not for your wallet, but I personally like I think it was mostly like towards second semester when I really just wanted to like pack food because I'm like, why not? So I usually pack food, but if I don't, I just like get like a little snack here and there, like just get lunch from like Metro. But obviously it's downtown, right? So there's like Chipotle, pizza, like all these.
Yeah.
You kind of get tempted. It's really bad for the bank account.
Yeah.
But I try to like bring microwavable food because like there's a microwave in like our TA lounge.
Mm.
But yeah, but sometimes you don't even find yourself like you find yourself missing like meals because you're
Yeah.
so busy. Like I feel like you can relate like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot to have dinner. Oops.
So your days are pretty busy with school.
It is pretty busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really depends on like the day because it's not like high school, right? So it's not like every day is the same. It's
Mhm.
mostly it really just depends on the class and like what class you have that day.
Mhm.
But I just use like that 12-hour day as an example, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty hectic.
And now, like with COVID, is it just kind of sitting at the computer for 12 hours?
Oh, honey, yes. And let me just tell you, I don't know, like profs, I feel like just because okay, honestly, everyone's having a hard time, obviously, with COVID.
Mhm.
Like it's a tough time out in here, but I feel like profs think we have more time because we're at home and they give
Mhm.
times like like double or triple amount of the work that they
Oh
would
my
give us
gosh.
like pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
So average for my program, it's like we'd still have the labs that I was talking about, like like the directing, like
Right.
producing, it's all online. So like
Oh my
last year,
gosh.
like yeah, isn't that crazy? Like last
Yeah.
semester, I think it was like last year we had like our video production class and we had to like produce a show all in person, and then we had like obviously like softwares to communicate, and like put the actual like I don't know how to explain it. It was like it's a very hands-on course from the beginning, and the way like our professors like did it online was amazing. Like I like the way like I don't even know how they did all that, but yeah, that was one of my favorite classes because I actually learned something.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it was hands-on, but like other classes, you're just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's just like why am I doing like 500 discussion boards
Yeah.
because of this? Yeah. And Zoom fatigue is a real thing. I feel
Oh
like
my
you could,
gosh. Yes.
right? Like
Literally.
staring at a computer for like I don't even know how hours and hours.
Yeah.
It just it's so bad, and I feel like some people forget to go outside and like take a
Yeah.
breather. I feel like I'm one of those people like I totally forget that the outside exists. Like I do not know how to go outdoors.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like I need to like start doing that.
Yeah, but it just feels like so with COVID, your classes are definitely a lot heavier now.
A lot heavier.
Yeah.
A lot heavier, and it doesn't help that it's online because like I said, the production classes like are most of our classes, like most of the really great classes are the hands-on ones, and it
Right.
sucks. It totally sucks that it's online, and I know like obviously like everyone's going through this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Hopefully for those first years that are gonna be going to school, like they'll have it in school with the vaccines and everything coming out. So yeah.
yes,
Hopefully we have that to look forward to.
for
Um,
sure.
yeah. And then I also saw for your program, it seems like you guys bring in really cool guests to come and speak to the students. Did you have any memorable guests that you talked to?
Yeah, actually, we had some reporters from TSN. So we had like
Oh
Matthew
wow.
Shinetti, and like this was before I worked there, so it was really cool, right? Like
Oh
uh
nice.
Matthew Shinetti, and then we also had like Kayla Gray from TSN, and we also had like Caroline Cameron from Sportsnet. So we had like a lot of people, like industry workers, and like especially seeing like these like women, right? Like it
Mhm.
like thriving in
Yeah.
the sports industry. It's really inspiring because like this industry is male dominated. Yeah, we I feel like we had a lot. Like
Yeah.
those that just came out of my head, but
That is so cool. And did you
it's
get a chance to actually like talk to them one on one, or was it more in a lecture form where like they were kind of presenting to students?
It was more of a lecture form.
Okay. And a lot of like the videos that I make are catered to like first year students or people who are trying to come into first year and they're kind of just getting a feel of the program and the school. So in first year, what was probably one of the hardest courses you had to take so that, you know, the students are ready for it when they come in?
Oh yeah. Oh, I can think of one.
Yeah.
I can think of one. So the hardest class was this class called production theory.
Hmm.
Like I'm getting nightmares just
Oh
thinking about
no.
it.
Yeah.
Um, that was like the first. It was because of this class. I had like my first all-nighter class before the exam. I was like, oh my god, like this is my first all-nighter. But basically, so we're in sport media, but that class was catered more towards media production, which is another realm, which is completely another like program, which focuses like mainly on like media production, I guess. But
Okay.
like we like everything we learned there, we did not need in future, like
Yeah.
like we did
Like
not
it
need
wasn't
that.
applicable later on.
It wasn't
Yeah.
applicable. And like the thing is, like I don't know. I feel like other people liked it. I just personally like, it wasn't for me, and I found it really hard.
Mhm.
And like I said, like I took my first all-nighter for that class. It was, and the thing is, like that class was like the lecture room was in Dundas, like the movie theater
Oh.
at 8 a.m.
Oh my god.
I'm like everyone is tired. We're in
That's
a movie theater. I'm ready to
yeah.
sleep. I'm ready to
Oh
sleep.
yeah, those chairs are so comfy too that you're like, all right, good night, everyone.
Exactly. Like I'm ready to go back to sleep here. But no, yeah, like I feel like that was one of the hardest class because it was purely like lecture based and obviously like I don't know. I feel like other people would say the same thing or like probably say like a different class, but I personally found that class like so hard.
Okay. Well, hopefully the students out there now know before they go in and like can figure out all their preparation beforehand. And then first year, what was like your favorite class that you took?
Yeah, like I feel like this makes a lot of sense. But my favorite class was called like digital media production. So it was like a graphic design course.
Oh, okay, nice.
That was mandatory
Mhm.
for first year, and I loved it. And I can see why now because obviously like production theory it was like heavy. I don't know, like talking about like we literally learned about like psychology at one point. Like I was like,
Oh.
what?
Yeah.
But, like, wait, what? And then like obviously like digital media production it's more like graphic design so
Mhm.
it definitely like it depends on your interests because I was definitely interested more in like obviously like graphic design but
Mhm.
yeah I guess that's why I like that class more like we made the animations and like the instructor was so nice and yeah we had like weekly critiques it was just a good
Oh,
time
that's so nice.
it's a great time yeah.
Yeah. And because like you are doing graphic design, do you have any advice for students that are coming in if they should, you know, download any software like Photoshop type of thing, and if they should kind of like can they learn a little bit before they come in to be more prepared?
Yeah. I would say getting used to like Photoshop,
Hmm.
especially. I think Photoshop is really like important if you want to become a graphic designer. It really depends, but to be honest, like first year I knew nothing about Photoshop. Like I knew I could because I took this class in high school called communication technology.
Oh.
So we did learn about Photoshop there a bit, which was great.
Mhm.
But I guess like getting a little bit used like I don't know, like I wouldn't say like it's needed, but it would really help if, you just uh I don't know, like I guess like dipping your feet into Photoshop a
Yeah,
little. I
just
feel
to
like
kind of have a little bit of knowledge before you go
have
in.
have a little bit of knowledge, but I don't think it's needed because like you'll obviously learn as you go.
Yeah.
I feel like Photoshop is really easy if you're really like consistent about it,
Mhm.
and you just don't like look at it for like once a week. But yeah, if you're I feel like consistency is really important on that. And
Right.
no, Photoshop's really easy, but Illustrator, me and Illustrator do not mix. I can't touch that.
Yeah,
But
I don't even know the difference between the two. Is it like a really big difference?
Illustrator is like a drawing. It's like a
Oh.
drawing thingy, and it's really hard. Like I want to learn it more, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
it's a tough look out here.
Yeah.
But I would say like for video editing, like Adobe's Premiere Pro is great, and like After Effects. So like those, getting like a sense of like the Adobe suite would be really beneficial. But like don't be too hard on yourself if you don't know it like right away, because you'll learn.
Yeah, and all the classes start off as if you're a beginner, like, and you don't know anything, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Like
So that's awesome.
exactly, like the digital media production class, she gave step by step like booklets. So like they treat you like you don't know anything about Photoshop. And yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a lot of nights where you stay up late, or is it kind of like you'll have a moment of a lot of work and then less and then a lot of work?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like always the first like 2 weeks are a breeze, right?
Yeah.
For school. But then after, I guess like the third week, it's just hectic because like I said, for one of our classes, we have labs and we have a show every week. So there's every week you have to prepare if you are in that show, but mostly you are in that show.
Yeah.
Most of the time you are on that show. And yeah, it does get pretty hectic. Like I found myself like staying up sometimes, but I feel like if I was just focusing on school, that wouldn't be the case because I was also doing work, like the job. So I would say the workload is pretty decent, I would say.
Oh,
But COVID did kind of ruin stuff.
yeah.
Like, profs, they kind of go off a little, but like as they should have. But no, yeah, like even before COVID, it was like you'd have like I feel like after midterms, that's when it would get hectic, or like the week before midterms. But that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like that's kind of a lot of university programs as well, so it's kind of consistent with that.
Yeah.
And for your program, so I know there's like the lecture teaching style, and then there's also labs. Are those kind of the two mains that you guys have in your school, or in your program? Sorry, or are there different kind of teaching styles?
Yeah. So lectures. So most of the time, we have a lecture for one class and a lab for one class. Does that make sense? Like,
oh, so the same class will have a lecture and a lab?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But that isn't always the case for all classes. Like I remember second year, like right before COVID, like we had a class called On Air, right? We had a lab for that and a lecture for that.
Oh, okay.
So, but sometimes there's also like we also had a class in second year, like for journalism, but that was just lecture based.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
it kind of differs.
Yeah, it really depends on the class, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Like COVID, like during the time, I think during third year, we had just either a lecture for one class or it's a lab class. It's like one of those things. Because I don't think they had like having a lecture and a lab for a class. So like those classes would usually be like 3 hours if it was just one class.
Those are those long classes.
Oh girl, so we had like our video production class for third year. It was 6 hours. It was a 6-hour class.
Oh my gosh. Wait, in one sit, like it was a 6-hour in one day?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh my god.
I mean, it does go by fast though, because you are producing a show, but it's pretty insane to look
so like
at.
you're using up the full 6 hours. You're not just kind of sitting there and listening.
Imagine a lecture for 6 hours.
Yeah, no, for a second I thought it was a lecture. That's why I was like, I can't imagine listening to a prof for 6 hours. Like I would zone out so fast.
No, yeah.
And then now kind of going into your work experience, which is super awesome. Can you at first like break down kind of the work experience you have?
Just my industry work. I had a brief internship with the Berry Colts for like three months, and then I think that was like one of my only stuff. Oh, and then I joined this publication called OTL Sports with most of my friends, and like it's like a student magazine thing, and we just posted work. We just posted like work for like our social media and stuff. That was like last year, and I think that's most of the work I've done if I like on the top of my head. But the main, like obviously like my main like job is at TSN in Bar Down, which has been a great experience so far. And yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you have any tips for students getting internships? Because it seems like TSN is obviously a company a lot of students would love to work at, especially in sports media. So do you have any tips, I guess, for getting that job?
Tips. I would say networking is really important, and always following up with with industry professionals. Like I know for me, like, you know, just making sure like your name is always out there. Like I made an art account,
Mm-hmm.
which I just posted strictly like my work. So that's really that's a really big tip. Like, you know, just posting your work, and I wouldn't say, yeah, getting your name out there.
Yeah.
Is that the right term?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
like,
so. Just so people know like who you are
yeah,
and they can
yeah,
find your actual work to make
yeah,
it credible.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
just making sure, and then also like that's a great stuff for your portfolio too. Like I guess like that's one of my tips, just like reaching out to industry professionals and like networking and just getting your name out is extremely important, because obviously like they're really busy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like their first thought, like when they wake up, like they're not going to be like
All the
thinking about
students
you.
that want to message me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not going to be like thinking about you. So making sure you get your name out there, and like just you know, just keep posting your work and keep reaching out, because I don't think I feel like reaching out, it can get annoying, but
Mm-hmm.
like at an extent, you know, like you know, like just emailing every second, but
Yeah.
you know, just making sure it's like a good pace, and you know, just making sure, like I said, that your name is out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the networking sessions, does Ryerson give you the opportunity to network, or do you kind of have to go out of your own way to find people to talk to?
Yeah. So like I said, like, you know, we do have like lectures, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like before COVID, students would like go up to them, you know, like just shake their hand and be like, oh, introduce you, like the 20-second elevator pitch sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then obviously, like I'm pretty sure like the guest lectures we had, like they gave their emails,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, like if they want to reach out her, and obviously LinkedIn exists.
Yeah.
But for me personally, so we had like this class called, I think it was called like sports something.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so generic.
In the sports program, it's called sports something.
Sports something. I totally forgot.
Do you remember what year you took it in? Or
Yeah,
semester?
I took it in
Okay.
second year, first semester, but I know the code, it was like RTA 234 or something.
Oh,
And we
perfect.
had to write, yeah, and we had to write an essay on an industry professional,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to shadow them. So I reached out to people, like it was okay. For personally being in second year, I found it really embarrassing to like reach out to people. Like I've never done it before, right? Like I was like, I don't know how to network. This is crazy. So then I had to like tweet out people, because obviously you know how you can't like message people without them following you.
Yeah.
So I had to like tweet out some people, and thankfully like my boss now, he reached out to me around that time. So it was really, it's crazy, like
Wow.
how it like all came to like a complete circle. But like he reached out to me, and I shadowed them at TSN like back in the day, and then yeah, and then like ever since, like I've like gone to like, you know, like reach out, and then they reached out, and then the rest is history. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's such a cool way to like get
it
it
was,
started.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty like crazy to think about, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And like your job at TSN, what was, I guess, the interview process also like? Was it kind of just one straight interview and then they told you if you got the job or not?
Okay, so personally, okay, I'm gonna be honest. So I did like the interview, like I just talked about, like the first shadow at around like October of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a long ago. But I don't think it was just like a one. It wasn't like it wasn't just a sit down thing. It's like you got the job, because I did go back for like a second shadow at around like February, and they said like I forget like what happened around that time, but I did go in for a shadow, but then COVID hit, right?
Mhm.
So I was on like the last thing on like people's mind, like why, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
why would I just come in like while like as COVID just hit? So then it wasn't until like August when they reached out, and then I started my time there. So
Oh, okay.
it wasn't just like a one
Like
one
it was a long process that you had to work hard to actually get. It wasn't like, here, sit
exactly.
down, tell me. Yeah.
Exactly. And then like during that summer, like, you know, when like during the summer of COVID, like that's when I really wanted to like build up my portfolio and like actually like dedicate my time to this. So that's what I did during that time. And then August, like they reached out and I was like, let's go. So
Nice. That's
yeah, that's
awesome.
when they reached out.
Yeah. And then what does like an average day at TSN look like? What do you kind of do on a day-to-day basis?
Most of the days, so I usually work at nights and it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And usually nights is when I would say most days and nights are busy. It really depends, but that's when usually like the games are on and you know just getting I, I don't I don't really know. Okay, like a day like a work in my life.
Yeah.
I you know you'd like scatter Twitter and seeing like what the latest news are, then you'd make like a graphic for that. But obviously like there's like other stuff going on at the same time, so you're definitely multitasking most of the time and just working on various projects at the same time.
Mhm.
But you're obviously like balancing everything, if that makes any sense, because you are working with like the writers or the writers and like content creators and all that. So you have people there to help you and they're honestly like the nicest people ever.
Mhm.
So like because like obviously like making a graphic, it doesn't take like 10 seconds, right? It takes
Yeah.
like I don't know, like 30 minutes to say the least, or like
Well,
15
30 minutes is pretty good. Like, because I've seen your graphics. I thought they would have taken like days to
oh,
do.
oh no, like no, like only some, like because
Yeah.
obviously like, sports just happens like real quick, right? So if
Yeah.
the graphic right now, like that's what you work on, and like if
Mhm.
they need it right away, you just have like you don't have like all the time in the world, so you have to like um learn how to I guess work on the fly, which I
Mhm.
have to learn because I was the slowest. Well, I feel like I'm still pretty slow, but like I
Mhm.
just try like you know just try like work ahead, not like work ahead, but like go like X Games mode and like just try going fast.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, like just trying to balance like multiple like things at a time. I would say, and then like most of my shifts are like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it's a good time.
Yeah. And so I guess like from what you said, so is your job more or less kind of following up with the news and then finding what people like what's trending and what people are interested in and then creating a graphic for that and then they'll post it kind of on their social media?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's basically it.
That is so cool. Good for
It
you.
it is pretty cool, and
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm just it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've also seen like your actual website, which is so cool. And I was wondering if you would be open to just like kind of sharing your screen and scrolling through it.
Sure. I
Okay.
got you. For the longest time I wanted to like update it because before it was very like it was just a regular template, but
Yeah.
yeah, I actually got time like after my second
It's so
semester
good.
to update it. But yes, this is my website. So as you can see, like I have like four sections here. Oh
It's
my god.
awesome. Yeah.
And so I have like my designs here, which are more like non-sports, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
because I wanted to like work on stuff that are like non-sports. So I have like this is like a very passionate like it was like a passion project basically. Like I was
Mhm.
like, okay, so I love movies. Like I would consider myself like I would not like the biggest film buff, but I just love everything about movies. So I
Yeah.
like picked seven directors and I made like this little magazine and like did the layout and everything. And yeah, I honestly just enjoyed every second, like just making that. And you know, like it's like these little things, like trying to balance like other stuff from work. And
Mhm.
and also Curtis, like I'm part of like this course union at Ryerson. Like the last year was actually my last year, but I was one of their graphic designers for the past I think 2 years. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. And I made like this logo for a practicum. It was pretty cool. And I also made this poster
Wow.
for their documentary. Also, so me and five of my friends from my program, we have like a show. So we have it's called it was from before it was a Spirit Live show, but now it's kind of like an actual like digital media platform. I don't know what to call it, but it's so jokes. I'm so here for it. It's a good time with those ladies.
Yeah.
But then also like other logos, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Do I just go over all of it?
Yeah, and then can you also see your like TSN ones that you have done?
Yes. So let's go to sports graphics. So like these are some of my work for TSN, and
is this like stuff they've posted?
yes.
Oh.
These are the ones that are posted, and it's a good time, you know.
How does that feel to like see your work being posted on an account where like millions of people are looking at your work now?
I honestly like I don't even know.
Yeah.
I when you're just like, oh, I sometimes see my work and I'm like, oh, because like the people that I work with are just like the nicest people ever, and then I'm just when
I guess it's also normalized because like everyone at TSN is doing something huge and like it is being seen by a lot of people that you get kind of used to it.
Yeah. And like I don't know.
That is awesome though.
I definitely try to like just do something different all the time, most of the time, but sometimes there just isn't that much time, right? So I do rely on templates, like some templates, and like I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it looks sick. And like and seeing all the designs that you've done, would you say that you learned how to do a lot of this from school, or did you also have to invest your own time to learn how to do like little aspects of it?
I'm gonna be honest. Do you want me to continue sharing my screen?
Oh no, you can end it now.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I learned most of my my graphic design, whatever I have.
Yeah.
Whatever I have.
Like the skills,
that skill set.
Yeah.
Through myself, because I've that digital media like production class did help a lot, but I guess like I would say the more I dove into like Photoshop, the more I got used to it, and the more I got comfortable with it, sort of thing. So I would say classes do help. Like I definitely think like it's more of it's like driving. It's like you can't learn how to drive by just like looking at stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you have to actually put it into practice. You have to take action.
Yeah, like you literally have to do it. So I did not just compare graphic design to driving.
Honestly, it made it easy for me to understand as someone who does graphic design. So I think it was a successful analogy.
Yeah, like that's what I would say. It's just do it, Nike. Just do it.
Do you have any general tips for any students that are applying for the program or going to Ryerson? Just anything?
Like going into the sports media program, I really hope like when like their first year hits, it's not COVID, because I definitely believe the experience in person is so different. It's just so different, like being actually there with the people. I feel like everyone can attest to this, but like just being at the labs, like working live in-person productions, those were like the best moments of the program. Just being surrounded by your friends, it was just a really good time. And some tips I would say that I feel like I struggled with is it's okay not knowing what you want to do going into the program, because there's so much choices. Like we talked about before, like there's graphic design, video production, directing, writing, producing, so many like little stuff like people forget about. You're gonna find what you're suited for. Don't worry, you got this. And also it is a close-knit, they don't like accept 1,000 people or like 300 people like other programs. And it's like I feel like they accept like, I don't know, 80 at least. So it can get competitive, but as long as you focus on yourself and your own work, you got this. And like obviously like it's normal, but like, you know, comparing yourself with other people's work,
Yeah.
it's so normal.
Yeah.
Everyone does it, but don't let that affect you, and that doesn't make your work any less beautiful.
I
Does
love that. Yes, that makes sense. That is
that
an awesome tip.
it happens all the time. Comparison. It doesn't matter what program you're in.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
I agree.
Like so what? Like that doesn't affect your work. Like there you can literally hype someone else up, and that doesn't take anything less from your thing. And all
Yeah.
like just being supportive from your peers, because that really does go a long way, and it doesn't hurt, because
Yeah.
like you can really make someone's day from just a single, like, I don't know, comment
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's very true. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking about your experiences from Ryerson to your program to your work. I think this is going to be so helpful to so many students, and literally like I'm ready to go into graphic design after hearing you talk about it. So yeah, I know. So just thanks overall, and for everyone watching, also thank you. Hopefully everything Therese had to say helped you out a lot. And I will put her information in the bio so you can also check out her website, because I literally like stared at it for an hour, I swear, just scrolling through because I admired it so much. But yeah, just thanks for coming on here and talking to everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed my time here. Like a girl, like
Oh, no
I
problem.
enjoyed every second. Thank you so much for coming up with these beautiful questions. And I had such a great time talking about this.
Oh, yay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.